Welcome to Road to Ownership. My name is Wes. We are living in this difficult economic time because of the pandemic. And many people are asking themselves, what's happening in real estate? Is this market going up or is it going down? Is the market going to crash? So we make these market updates to give you an insight into the direction of the real estate market in your area. Today we're going to the city of Atlanta, Georgia. But before we start with this update, I want to ask you for a favor. If you like the content that I'm creating here, please subscribe. Just click the button and subscribe. I will appreciate it. Now, the city of Atlanta, Georgia sits in Fulton County. As you know, Fulton County is the largest county in Metro Atlanta in population. We're going to do this update focusing on single family detached homes. But we want to give you a quick insight into the value of condominiums and townhomes in the city of Atlanta during the third quarter of 2020. For condominiums, it was $250,000, and for townhomes, it was $345,000. We want to quickly cover two macroeconomic metrics that are important for the real estate market. One of them is the mortgage rate, the median mortgage rate, and the other one is the unemployment rate. Low mortgage rate make it easier for more folks to qualify to buy the home they want to buy. And unemployment rate, if it's too high, you cannot buy a house if you don't have a job. That's one of the components, to be qualified to buy a house. So that's why we wanted to cover these two for you. This mortgage rate is historically low at 3%. That's very low. Next, we want to cover a group of counties and cities. We just want to give you an insight into why we're doing a market update of the city of Atlanta. It's because we intend to do what I call sub-market updates, where rather than doing one update where we look at the entire region of Metro Atlanta of over 6 million people, but we will go down to counties and cities with population above 50,000 people and give you a quick insight into the real estate market in that area. We think that is much more useful to give you an insight into value in your county or in your city. We will look at a group of metrics. These metrics will give us an insight into what the market is doing. Is price going up in the market? Do we have enough houses for sale in this market? Or are we having more houses for sale or less houses for sale? How is the demand? Do we have a lot of buyers looking for houses? This is what we're going to look at. Now, the very first metric we're going to look at here is median sales price. This is the median sales price for a single family detached home in the city of Atlanta during the third quarter of 2020. And the price we have here is $418,000. We see the previous year it was $335,000, so we have an increase of 24.8% for the city of Atlanta year over year. The next metric we have here is price per square feet. So this price per square feet metric is very relevant in commercial real estate, but we can use it here to show the movement of price. We see in 2019 it was $168, but in 2020 it's $200. So this is an increase of 19%. So price also going up. The next metric we have here is dollar volume of closed sales. This is the aggregate value of all the sales during the period. We see an increase of 36.6%. We see movement up in price of single family detached home in the city of Atlanta itself. The next category, the next group of metrics here we call supply metrics, which shows the availability of homes in the market. The first one is new listing, new homes that came for sale during this third quarter. We see a reduction. We see a negative 8.5. So there were less of new amount of listings that came in the market. Negative 8.5%. The next metric here we have is pending sales. Pending sales is homes that are under contract but that's not been closed yet. We see that we have more during the third quarter of 2020 than we had in the third quarter of 2019. And I think it's due to the fact that many folks bought during the third quarter rather than the second quarter that they usually buy traditionally because of the pandemic. The next metric we have is number of home for sale. This chart here, number of home for sales, show us the reduction in supply issue that we are facing throughout the region. We see a negative 29% in supply during the period. So number of home for sale in 2019 during the same period was 2,600, but this period it was just 1,833. Some folks who wanted to sell the house decide not to sell because of the uncertainty in the marketplace due to the pandemic. The next slide here we have, the last one is number of closings. We see there were more closings during this period than the last period, than 2019. Is due to the fact that there were more people trying to buy in the third quarter than the second quarter, because between March and June we had a period where folks didn't know what to do. Folks didn't want to go out there to look for houses. It was such an uncertain period. The last two charts here are what I call demand chart, that shows us the strength of demand, the activity of buyers in the marketplace. The first one is showing per listing. For showing per listing, we have an increase of 78%. So for every listing that come in the market, in 2019, it was seen 3.7 times, but during this past third quarter, it was 6.6, so an increase in activity. The next one is time on the market, which is the last metric here we're looking at, which shows the strength of demand, is time on the market. So we see a house took 32 days on average to go under contract in 2019, third quarter, but third quarter 2020, it took 21 days. So the houses are selling or going under contract much quicker, which shows that this market is in the advantage of the sellers. We see increase in price, we see a reduction in supply like we saw, and then we see the strength of demand. This is a seller's market still, and like I usually say, the incentives for buyers in this marketplace with such tight supply is the interest rate. You want to buy because you want to lock in a low mortgage rate. This was a quick look at the real estate market for the city of Atlanta during the third quarter 2020. Thank you.